You're listening to the Appleton REIA podcast, a podcast dedicated to understanding the latest tips, tricks, and techniques to be successful in today's market of real estate investing. Appleton REIA podcast. Get ready. Here's the next episode. Hey everybody, welcome to the Appleton REIA podcast. My name is Dan Alborn, and via telephone today, because she's getting ready to go get some sun in her face in a place much warmer than we are right now, Jacci Conco.
Hello. To the beach guy go. Tomorrow.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm excited for you. That's always a good time.
Yeah. Well, but you can't do that all the time if you work a regular job. So real estate definitely, as we always talk about, it has the grind, but it definitely has its perks. So
for sure.
To the perks.
Well, when you can control your own schedule, Jacci, you can dictate when you want to go, and you can build your life around that, right?
Yeah, and with what we do, for the most part, Dan, you and I aren't swinging a hammer anymore. If we had to, we could actually do a working vacation.
Yes.
So, not the end of the world.
Sometimes it happens. It wouldn't be uncommon that someone be sitting on a beach and get a deal, would it, Jacci?
No, yeah, you're right. Last time, this is the very beach I was on when I got that deal, too. Going back.
That's why I brought it up.
My phone will ring.
Oh, my word. Well, what I really hate about this podcast is we never have any fun on it.
Yeah, I know. It sucks. I hate talking with you.
It's such a chore to do this every month to bring the knowledge to you people. But that's the point of the podcast, okay? Is Jacci and I care to make you guys, or to help you guys, I should say, be more successful in real estate investing. And today's topic is something that I think is universal across the whole U.S. in regards to, we talk to a lot of investors locally in regards to, where are you finding deals? I think this week alone I've talked to probably 5 to 6 other investors. Some people are new that I've never talked to before. We've just crossed paths or just existing, and they're like, where are you finding deals? How are you finding them? And they're just asking a lot of questions, which is great. But the reality is a lot of the avenues that people are so used to getting deals from, Jacci, are drying up. Inventory's low. And the people that have become in the past like that one-trick pony, they got to diversify. So today's podcast is don't be that one-trick pony, and we're going to talk a little bit about how maybe you can become more effective in maximizing your opportunities. It's tough today, isn't it?
Well, it's true, and you got to be able to pivot. Even if you don't have a knowledge base, which we'll talk about today, you still have to have the wherewithal of what's out there, what are the opportunities, and then network and find the people that can take you together. And again, we'll talk about that today, but I know you've been talking to local investors, and literally I've been on the phone with people all across the country. My headphone just fell out. But I've been on the phone with investors, including some of the great big investors, the huge operation investors, and they're all saying that it's more difficult to get deals right now. So it's not just here in our area, and it's not whining, it's not complaining. It's just saying, this is the truth right now. Deals in the way we've done them in the past, it's more difficult. Our economy is in a spot that it hasn't been, right? Inventory is super low. Interest rates are still super low, right? So there's buyers out there. There's not as many people willing to sell. Even the people who want to sell aren't selling because they're afraid they won't be able to buy, right? So
that's true, yeah.
They're tired of getting beat out. So even the junk, the stuff we used to really salivate over purchasing and making it nicer, even that stuff is selling just like it is, top dollar, 20 over, 40 over.
Yeah.
So the economy is just different. So we as investors have to just, realize that, take it as reality, not a complaint or a whine, and ask the question, how can I utilize today's market and still be successful? What do I need to do? How can I pivot? Ask yourself questions that you actually want answers to, because then your brain goes and gets busy, it gets to work, and it gives you those answers.
Right.
So
and sometimes
number one is probably networking.
Yeah, and this is not only for the new investors, because sometimes they think this is completely geared to them. There's a lot of old dogs that have been doing it the same way forever, and they're also the investors I'm talking to, like, Dan, what are you guys doing to get deals right now? Because, they used to continually buy off MLS, or they had maybe one pocket way of getting deals, and it's not there anymore. And the other side of the spectrum, for the newbie investors, they teach you how to buy these properties, but usually it's just like, here's the cash offer, use the Mayo formula, and that's great. But the reality is sometimes that one option is not the best option for the person you're talking. There are people that really need your help, but the cash offer really isn't the best solution. So if you don't have other avenues to pursue, you're not getting that deal versus someone else who does. And I know that's more challenging for the newer investor, but that's part of the podcast today. We're going to talk a little bit about, well, how can I do that, Dan? I haven't done a deal yet, and now you want to do creative financing, or you want to do a lease option? I have no idea how to do that. There are ways to do that, and I think the biggest thing is just building that networking team, right, Jackie? We talked a little bit about that.
Yeah, it really is. And I guess, number one, be aware that there are other ways to take down a deal. And here's the truth. If you have gotten your phone to ring, or you have gotten someone to answer your call, and you have a lead on the other line, and your cash offer doesn't work, you do not want to waste that lead, right? You don't want to throw it away, because you've worked very hard. Maybe you've spent a bunch of money just to get that person to respond. If your cash offer doesn't work, you need to know that through networking, there's a lot of other outlets. There's other people that you could share that lead with and either joint venture on it, sell the lead, get a bird dog fee, get a percentage, a split, wholesale it, whatever. But there are people who can pay more than you. There are people who can pay more than that rehabber who's going to flip it and sell it for a profit. And if you start to know those people, and you start to recognize what that lead might be better for, sometimes it's as simple as just selling it to someone who's going to rent it out, because they don't have to do as much work, right? I mean, that's the old way of doing it. But you can get even more creative than that. I have a student down in Arizona, and that's all she does is lease options. So for all these years, she's been buying properties right off the MLS and paying retail. But right now, retail plus 40, retail plus 80 in her area, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
But what she does is she just puts people into the properties, and then she puts them in there on a lease option, right? So she partners with an investor. She uses their money. She buys the property. She puts in a tenant buyer, and then they're on like a 10 or a 15-year note where eventually they will exercise that option 10 years out or whatever. So she's making cash flow. She's making upfront because she collects these. So anyway, she can pay a lot more. That's somebody you want to be able to have in your hip pocket that you could sell these retail leads too, and get, even if you just get a bird dog or sell the lead for a couple bucks, you recoup some of that money that you've put out or time that you've put out. So that's one way to pivot. But networking, Dan, we've done so much over the years, and it has brought
it's crazy. And just a real quick side note, and if you're local in this market, like this just bothers me beyond belief. So I had someone recently send me a text saying, hey, I have rental properties, right? So I'm on people's lists saying, hey, I'd like to buy your property. I'm like, well, hey, I'd like to at least talk with you. So I respond to their text. I even call the number, leave a voicemail, like, hey, they never call me back. So it baffles me at times where people spend the time, energy, and effort to do some of these things, texting or voicemails or whatever, and then they never answer the call. I know there's fear, but folks, I'm telling you, don't do that stuff if you're not going to have someone follow up on that stuff, because Jackie's absolutely right. But I think you hit it out of the park, Jackie, is that I think we've built our relationship on that exact philosophy of just networking and building things together. Matter of fact, both you and I have been in this business forever, and just recently I came across an opportunity that wasn't in my wheelhouse. It was land development, and I'm like, Jackie, I think there's something here, and I laid it out, and you're like, well, yeah, did you think about this? I'm like, no, I didn't. So it may be an opportunity where we can do some future business together, but it just goes to show that you can't be an expert in everything. And what you need to do is find people that have certain specialties. There's certain niches, whether it be, like Jackie said, there's a lease options expert in your market, or you have someone who's really good at rentals and acquiring rentals, or the flipper, the wholesaler, whatever area that maybe either you want to know more about, or you may run into that avenue. Now, you may not need them today, right? You have nothing that can help them, but you put them on your phone. You have a conversation with them. Hey, maybe you go to the local REIA and say, listen, if I get a deal that kind of falls in this, would you be open to wanting to know about that? Most times they're going to be like, yeah, call me. So like Jackie said, one of a few things. Either A, you just sell them the lead, you're completely out of the picture, you make a few bucks, they take it from there if they buy it. Or B, maybe it's that joint venture on this opportunity where you learn along the way, right? It depends on the investor and what they want to do. But, oh my word, can you imagine if you do that once or twice a year in some different avenues, how full your toolbox can be with strategies to exit out of a property? Does that make you more valuable as a business if you can offer that to clients? Yeah, absolutely,
That's
right?
a real business.
Yeah.
That's not a hobby anymore.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and there's those people, I know we have them right in our own market where they very slowly, by themselves, with their own labor, flip a house a year.
Yeah.
Sometimes I know people in our market that move into them.
Yeah.
And they live in them for 2 years while they fix them. Can they pay more than your traditional buyers on your buyer list that you're trying to wholesale to? They absolutely can. They're doing their own work. They're not going to pay the capital gains tax in the end, not capital gains, but the flip tax in the end, because they're going to live there for 2 years, doing their property. If you meet and you have those people in your tool belt, or you meet someone who knows those people, right? Because you start to grow that network that you have, then there is really no lead that needs to be wasted, because there's always somebody. I mean, right down to the fact that maybe you're just networked with a really cool realtor who will do a good job for them, maybe even be able to give them some commission discount or something like that, that at the very end, if there's just nothing creative, there's no other outlet, you can refer them to a quality agent that you know will take care of them, and they can just go sell retail, right? There's always something you can do.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Jackie. And think about this. This is beyond real estate. You think of anyone who's been successful in life, it's not because they hold the road themselves. They surrounded themselves in areas they weren't experts in, right? You read any biography of any business professional, Jack Welch, Donald Trump, you name the pioneers of industry in today's world, and these are people that they brought a team together, and that's how they blew up and became massive. So the reality is, for you to think about you doing it all yourself, you don't have to. Just be good at what you do and then bring other people alongside of you who maybe can assist you in your growth. So that's just business 101, but it can be definitely magnified in real estate, specifically in unique strategies that maybe you don't know as much about, but you will over time. And as long as you know enough to speak to understand that is an opportunity, that's really the only real knowledge you need to be like, oh, that sounds like that might be a lease option, or that may be something where perhaps this is more of a rental play, and I don't do rentals, but I know Jim over here, he's a big rental buyer, and then just having that networking. And I think what it comes down to is, how are you networking today? Jack, you've built your business on that model alone, is just networking with individuals,
it was free. That's what I had to do.
Yeah, right? But in today's day and age, there's just... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, everybody's in different areas. I know we have a lot of local people on the line. But, the Appleton REIA specifically, where we are, I know that we always offer the opportunity. Bring a deal if you need help structuring it. If you think there's got to be something here, but you're just not figuring it out, I mean, that's what we're for. That's what a club like this is for, right? You can bring it up front to the room during the haves and wants at the regular meeting. You can kind of just bring your mess of paperwork and numbers and kind of what it looks like and questions you asked the seller and the answers they gave, and say, do you guys see anything here? And who would be my best partner? Or who should I sell this deal to? Or what can I do with this deal? It's amazing when you bring a group of real estate minds around a deal, how someone can see something in it that you never saw. Like, oh, well, why don't you do this or that? It's like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Oh my gosh, it's right there. Or, well, I don't know how to do that. That sounds interesting. Okay, well, here's your opportunity to learn and actually grow as a real estate investor business, right? Somebody who has all kinds of arrows in the quiver, and you have all these opportunities and options that you can offer your sellers down the road. You just start to learn new techniques. OJT, right? On the job.
Yeah,
training.
absolutely.
Like,
so, I mean, obviously, if you're local, you can come to Appleton REIA, AppletonREIA.com to find out the latest meetings and the happenings. We got a really awesome new venue that we are in 2021, and phenomenal. Really cool spot. I'm looking forward to meeting. Last month was phenomenal, and all future meetings are going to be great, especially when it gets warm outside and you get to go outside with the fire pit and all that fun stuff. So, nonetheless, you can find all the information
you
there.
gotta stay after the meeting.
Oh, that's for the business. That is
you
true.
Have to stay after the meeting.
And maybe a caveat, and that's with any group.
Area.
That's with any group. It's the information usually is great at most of these meetings, but it's the meeting the people that are in that group, that community, that family almost, and understanding who they are and who the players are and knowing what they do and just putting yourself out there to be like, hey, I don't know. I'd like to meet more people. I may run into some opportunities I don't even know yet, but, are you open to that type of conversation? If I find something, would you be willing to talk or take 5 minutes or whatever? Be cognizant of their time because they can be busy, but, ask permission. And if they're like, yeah, if you get something, then get their card, put it in your phone. So when that comes, put Jim, the, lease option guy, boom, there you go. The other thing too is find on social media, find local groups, meetup groups, whether it be on Facebook groups or whatever, or what other avenue that they're on, and then connect there too. If you're looking, it's a great place locally that if you're looking for, hey, I need a plumber, someone can be like, boom, oh yeah, call Steve's Plumbing. So it's a great resource to network that way and put yourself out there. Be vocal. Not that you have to be like, don't be fake, right? Don't say you know it all, but just be open and honest. People like genuine people. So if you're just like, hey, I'm new, I'm trying to learn. And if you're looking for some contacts, don't abuse the privilege, but at the same time, just be transparent with who you are. There is the fake it before you make it mentality. And I think there's some of that, but most people as other investors can read a lot through that, the BS, quite honestly. So just try to be real and genuine. I think that gets you further in that space for sure.
Yeah, I fully agree with you on that. And sometimes you do have to fake it a little bit in front of your sellers.
Agreed.
You can't act like you're brand new and you don't know what you're talking about, but or make up answers to questions that you shouldn't be answering, right? But yeah, with investors, man, I think once you open yourself up, you will realize how giving so many people are. Mm-hmm. They really are.
I would agree.
It is a great community of investors helping other investors. Yeah. Of course, there's always a few out there, but you can have that in any industry. Correct. You'll find them real quick.
Well, we all understand that we can help each other grow. Like, there could be an opportunity that you have, Jackie. You're like, hey, Dan, this is more your wheelhouse. And that's happened, right? We've shared opportunities. We've shared leads. We've shared ideas. We've made business together. We've done business together. We understand that. And that's the great part of these partnerships is we know long-term there could be success for both of us. And, yes, we're both sometimes going after similar leads. But most people that are decent investors and successful are open to opportunities. So if you can go in open-minded like that, that can be beneficial for you and your growth. And really all this does is it allows you to step out of just kind of the mentality of if you bought a course or watched a boot camp over the internet or whatever, they teach you one thing. It's great to know that, master it, but this is how you expand that base, right? And you don't become the one-trick pony. So when a seller comes with you and the cash offer isn't the only play, you can say, well, listen, apparently the cash offer is not going to work for you, but if I was like if then statements, if I could maybe do this, would then that be something that you might want to work with? You may not know the answers. Then you say, well, listen, let me get back to you. And then you pick up the phone and be like, I got to call Jim. Hey, Jim, I just spoke to the seller, whoever that is. So having those people kind of in your back pocket, right, goes a long way to make you more valuable as a business to a potential seller. Because if you're there at the table, that's your best opportunity to close because they've just shared all their pains and everything. So even if you have to step out of the like, hey, listen, let me go make a phone call real quick. Can I come back? Ask for permission? Yeah, come back in. Hey, I just talked to my partner, Jim. I think we might be able to work with something here. And then you go from there, right? You don't know, but all I'm saying is if you have those resources available, one, it takes a lot of the fear out of it, which is the biggest challenge and roadblock to many things, and allows you the opportunity to be a full service solution for your potential customer or the person you're trying to serve, right? So, well, listen, guys, if you want to find out more information, you're in the Green Bay, Fox Valley area, AppletonREIA.com. Go there, sign up. There's benefits galore. We've talked about that on other podcasts. Check them out. All our other podcasts are there, too. So if you've not got enough of Jackie and I, right, and you just like, man, I really want to hear their voices again. I don't know why it's weird and cryptic, but, some people fall asleep to us, Jackie. I don't know why that is, but that happens. You can go AppletonREIA.com or all the other podcast places where you're hearing this. We have other episodes. Otherwise, you can find about upcoming meetings, events, get-togethers. This year I know is going to be just filled with awesome opportunities. I mean, kicking things off last month and what you have on the docket for what we were just talking about beforehand. Holy smokes. Get ready, folks. You're going to hear about some stuff this year you've never heard before, and it's going to be just amazing for your business. So, AppletonREIA.com. Jackie, enjoy some sun. Danny, that's crazy. I've not called that since like 5th grade. That's awesome.
I know, right? It rhymed.
Yes.
I can't wait to see the sun. I'll bring it back with me.
Well, you are very sun friendly. You know that. You come back, the sun loves you. You come back as like a golden goddess. You just have this aura over you once you come back. Yes.
Yeah, hopefully it's not red. It's red. That's what we go for.
No rock lobster. Go golden goddess, nothing more, okay? Awesome. Well, guys.
Well, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody at the next meeting.
Yeah, it should be good. Oh, it's going to be really good.
Get on the site, sign up. Let's see you there.
Yeah, it should be awesome. Well, very cool, guys. If you haven't already, log on, AppletonREIA.com. Sign up today. Otherwise, we'll talk to you in the next podcast. Have yourself a good one. See ya.
See ya.
You've been listening to the Appleton REIA podcast. For more information and other episodes, visit us at AppletonREIA.com.